Great teams lose games all the time. The Avs have lost a number of games already this season, and that's fine. Sometimes you get outplayed. That happens. Sometimes you just don't have it that night. That happens. But in this game, for the first time this season, two things happened. First, I felt like the Avs lost this game more than the Blues won it. And second, the Avs showed some mental weakness. Avs lose 5-2 to the St. Louis Blues. Let me get one thing out of the way immediately here. I think the St. Louis Blues are a dirty team, but until we have robot refs that call the rules exactly by the book every single time, being a little bit dirty is actually something beneficial to an NHL hockey team. The refs weren't calling hand penalties in this game. Not holding the stick, not holding in general, not throwing people to the ice, not punching them in the face. They just weren't calling them, and the Blues took advantage of that where the Avs struggled to do so. Stanley Cup winning teams, particularly ones that retained a lot of the experience they have, understand how much they can get away with and understand how to work within the way refs are calling a game. That area is certainly something that the Blues have that the Avs simply just don't yet. With that being said, the Blues also were the better team for a good portion of this game, almost the entire first period to boot. The Avs quickly put themselves on the back foot by taking a penalty early, but they managed to survive it, and it was not a great first period from the Avs. In fact, the Blues controlled it very heavily, outshooting them 15-6 in the period, but they were getting by, and they were getting a few opportunities here and there. The Blues are a grindy team. They're going to work you hard and make it hard for you to hold onto the puck, but as we'll get to in the second period, the Avs proved that they can dominate the possession when they're playing their game, and they just didn't do enough of that in the first period. Now, the Blues did get a little lucky as well. I will admit, the Avs hit 2 posts in this game, all the way up to bad post number 41, first of all, which, geez, that's gotta stop sometime eventually. But also, just Blues seem to have everything going right for them this season. On one of those posts, Sam Girard beat Binnington clean under the arm, but somehow the puck deflected up and into the crossbar on what really should have been a sure goal, and it remains 0-0 in the game. So the game continues on, and eventually, when good teams possess the puck enough, they score a goal. The Avs crack a little bit, and the Blues take advantage late in the first. Both teams are changing here, and as that happens, Burakovsky's just going to get absolutely outworked for a puck, and then some good things happen and some bad things happen here, as Perron tosses the puck over to O'Reilly. He mishandles it and has to pull up a little bit, not getting as deep in the zone as he could have. You can see both Rantanen and McKinnon are coming into the zone with a lot of speed here. And as O'Reilly pulls up, Rantanen even looks to be cutting down the middle of the ice and covering back as the deepest forward in the zone. Now, this is where a couple of good things happen and a couple of bad things. First of all, Ryan Graves steps up on O'Reilly. I'm fine with that. He stepped up on that side of the ice. That's the only player currently there to defend, so a defender on him is fine. At the same time, Zadorov slides over. I've talked a lot about how the Avs like to hang the defenseman in no man's land over here. Zadorov doesn't do that. He covers his guy, and that's perfectly fine. You just need to be communicating. With Graves stepped up, and everyone rotating over a spot, that means a forward needs to be covering back. Now, Burakovsky was originally on Perron, and he abandoned him, so there, again, needs to be communication. If Burakovsky's not covering back or out of the play, that means it's going to be on someone else to cover back, and you're going to see Rantanen curls up as O'Reilly fumbles the puck, leaving a nice little gap for Perron. At the same time, the battle in front of the net, Grubauer just gets completely screened here. Yes, it's a screen, but it's a goalie's job to track the puck. He doesn't at all here as O'Reilly throws a nice pass through the now open spot because Rantanen pulled up And it's a tap-in for Perron because Grubauer never sees it. Pretty frustrating because the Avs had played on the back foot for the majority of this period, but they had been sound enough to get away with it up until that point. And on the one hand, this is what happens when you get outplayed. Eventually, the other team is going to put it together and score on you, but still, feels like the Avs could clean up a lot of mistakes on that play simply by talking a little bit. Ultimately, I don't have any major gripes with the first period. Obviously, giving up the goal isn't great, and getting outplayed is even worse, but if the Blues just simply outplay the Avs through the entire game, well, then the Avs deserve to lose. That's a pretty simple, done thing. On the road, being down by 1 after 1, not the end of the world by any means, and the Avs proved that they are capable of hanging with, if not beating, the Blues in the second period. They come out hot to start the second, and they stay hot for about 18 straight minutes of hockey in the second period. They dominate the Blues. They were out shooting them 13-2 at one point in the period, and it looked like they might actually be the better team. And tying things up in the first minute of the period certainly gave them a bit of a boost as well. Kadri wins an offensive zone faceoff clean here, back to Ryan Graves, who quickly jumps up to grab the puck and continues forward, jumping up into the play. This does look like a pretty set play for the Avs, as Donskoy goes immediately to the net and Kadri slides out into the slot as Landeskog heads back towards the point for the pinching Graves. So once Graves gets down in, he just finds a tiny bit of room, beats his man to the outside, and fires a beautiful pass through to Kadri, who has found some open space if the pass can get through the lane. Does take a very nice pass from Graves, credit where credit is due there. And then Kadri, I'm not sure what he saw or if he did this on purpose or what, but he decides to go low with it, and it pans out perfectly, catching Binnington by surprise, and the Avs tie it up. The talent is absolutely there for the Avs to overcome the strong defense from this St. Louis Blues team. They're capable of finding the stop spots. They're capable of making the plays to get the puck to where it needs to be. It's just a bit of a struggle sometimes for them to do it consistently. But in the second period, the Avs were just simply the better team. The Blues were still aggressive on the forecheck. They were still muddling up the neutral zone, but the Avs overcame it. One, with crisp passing, but more importantly, with effective skating. If you can outskate the Blues when they're being up in your grill, strong on the puck, you can outmuscle them and get around them, their game plan falls apart extremely quickly. This is where that dirtiness factor comes in a little bit. If Blues give you a little hold here, a little hold there to slow you up, that makes life harder to get around and get past them. But the same goes for the Avs. They need to be pulling swim moves. They need to be giving a little tug on the jerseys as well to even the playing field. With the Avs in control, though, eventually the Blues take a penalty that doesn't involve a hand but a stick, and the refs are calling those, leading to the Avs' first power play of the game. And let me tell you, I don't know what switch they found, but the Avs' power play was much, much better in this game. Look at all the beautiful movement on this power play. First, Rantanen gets it in deep to Landeskog as they both skate deep into the corner. Eventually, Landeskog is going to reverse this up to Sam Girard, but as the puck is coming up, you'll see Kadri is sliding into the half wall here, allowing Rantanen to stay low and Landeskog to start working his way back over to the far side. Girard is going to then quickly fire the puck over to that far side where McKinnon has space, allowing Kadri to continue to move back into the center bumper slot. Ton of movement, you love to see it, and at the same time, McKinnon is doing his own thing, skating and creating space as well. So as Kadri slides into the middle, Rantanen slides up into the circle. This is the exact movement the Avs power play has been really lacking for a long time. It creates chaos and is extremely hard to cover on the defensive side. McKinnon is eventually going to get this puck back up to Sam Girard off of a nice pass back to the top after dragging multiple players to him, and all of a sudden Rantanen has all the room in the world on that near side circle. Girard has recognized it. He's going to set him up beautifully, and this is just an unbelievably good shot. Keep that film and show it every single time the Avs are stagnant on their power play as to why that needs to stop. Nothing's ever going to open up if you're not moving your feet, and just a little bit. It doesn't take an insane amount of movement. You don't have to exhaust yourself. Just enough. A switch here, a switch there, and Mikko Rantanen gets an open bomb from 20 feet away from the net. And the Avs were riding high. They continued to play well. After that goal, they got another power play opportunity where they didn't convert, but again, PP1 looked strong. After that power play is where the first issues started to creep in. I do think the Avs left their foot off the gas a little bit too much. It wasn't terrible, but a shot total that was 13-2 started to swing back into the Blues' favor, and the Blues started to control the play a little bit more. Still, with 2 minutes left in the period, you were feeling like the Avs were pretty comfortable. And then 5 seconds later, Nazem Kadri takes a high stick, and it's a double minor. It's a bad penalty, no getting around it, and it's one that the Avs just could not afford in this game. Not going to beat around that bush. Kadri cannot do that to the Avs. He's too important a player to this team. But even so, your PK still needs to be able to kill at least one of those power plays, and they failed in that regard as well. Avs lose a puck battle down deep in their own corner, allowing the Blues to work it back up to the points and maintain possession in the zone here. You're going to see the pretty standard Avs move on the PK where JT Compher gets extremely aggressive up in the zone, and that leaves a ton of space on the near side for the Blues to work with, as Matt Nieto now has to sit in the cross-ice passing lane, or they'll give up the seam pass and won't have anything to do about it. So you remember how I was talking about on the Blues' first goal, how Ryan Graves got extremely aggressive on the puck carrier, and I like that? This is why I like that. Ian Cole doesn't do that. He just floats. He goes for his shot block, doesn't really pressure Perron at all here, and Perron's a good shooter. He understands how to find the holes in the defenseman, shoots it over Cole's leg. Grubauer gets beat up high. As you can see, it looks like he might be struggling to track the puck again on this one, screened by Ian Cole himself. Just go for the man. Be aggressive on these plays. You're not the goaltender. You don't have to make the save, and nobody makes the save on this one. So, not great, right? But still, that's a 2-2 game, tied after 2 periods, especially on the road against one of the best teams in the league. You take that. Instead, the Avs just fell apart and gave up another one, and they would never see the lead again. Blues are entering the play 3-on-3 here. Pretty safe. In fact, Zadorov even deflects the entry pass, and it creates a board battle 2-on-2 along the wall. The obvious 2 committed here are Zadorov and Nichushkin, but there is also kind of a third player committed in Ryan Graves as an outlet to poke the puck to. If you're going to commit 3 of your 4 defenders on the PK to a board battle, you need to win it or you're going to be in trouble. The Avs do not win it, and this causes a lot of problems. First of all, good recognition by Graves to bail out once he realizes they're not going to win it and put himself in a defensive position. Matt Calvert totally caught flat-footed here, not really doing any effective in this play, and both Nichushkin and Zadorov basically take themselves entirely out of the play once the puck is lost. So, very tough situation. Calvert, I understand his thinking here. He tries to back off and take away the pass to the far point because there's a mile of space over there because the Avs have overcommitted to the near side. Problem being, because Nichushkin and Zadorov are out of the play, if he's not taking the puck carrier here, then no one is, because Graves has to respect the man in front of the net. So that opens a huge lane for Dunn to simply walk into, leads to essentially a 2-on-1 situation. I don't want to put too much blame on Calvert here because Zadorov and Nichushkin just can't take themselves out of the play like that. They need to be able to get back into it if they can't win the puck. Graves tries to take away the passing lane, but credit where credit's due. This is a very nice pass from Dunn to get it over to Bozak. And from there, it's too late, as Bozak does make a nice little give-and-go pass back to Dunn to make the goal look pretty. Good teams find a way. The Avs could not find a way in the first period where the Blues were dominant. Then the Avs dominate the second, but the Blues find a way not only to tie the game, but take the lead after 2. So that's pretty bad. You can't really have a good feeling about anything after you outplay them and completely collapse in the last 2 minutes of the period to throw the lead away. But that's zero excuse for this third period. The Avs just continued to completely fall apart, and the shot clock will not tell you the full story there, because the Blues just got grade A chance after grade A chance, and they just kept missing the net. The Avs puck management was downright awful in the third period. I'm talking children's hockey level, where 3 of the 5 players on the ice would literally just be flailing their sticks at the puck, not even attempting to control it, just swinging at it. That's just about as bad as it gets, and it plays right into the hands of the St. Louis Blues and the way they want to play aggressively. The Avs are better than that. I'm very, very certain of it, but they just could not seem to figure it out, and they simply just never recovered from collapsing at the end of the second period. Again, good teams find a way. After getting dominated for most of the second, the Blues found a way to impose their will again in the third, and instead of fighting back, the Avs just crumbled. I will say, for a while, with the Blues missing their net, it felt like maybe, just maybe, the Blues would miss their opportunity on this one. But they didn't, because the Avs simply just could not muster offense to save their lives. I will say this, the Avs desperately missed Cale Makar in that third period. While others are flailing, Makar is usually the one who's very poised, very intelligent, and very capable of managing the puck. That's no excuse, though. St. Louis didn't have Tarasenko in this game, and they still found a way to score plenty of goals. You have to be able to show up, and you have to be able to get the job done. Anyway, the Blues do eventually manage to break through and get that goal on a play that I think sums up the third period extremely well. Zadorov is going back to collect a rimmed puck, has plenty of time and space here, no need to rush, no need to do anything risky. Instead, he no-look fires a puck up through the center of the ice, right to Jordan Kyrou. Right to him. Look at, the Avs weren't even back in the neutral zone yet. I don't know what the thought process here is, especially in a period where they've been awful with the puck. Take an extra second. Be patient. Make a smart play. Just no reason for that. This creates a 2-on-2 situation heading into the zone. Kyrou's just going to go hard towards the net, cut out wide, beats Graves clean, just leaves him in the dust here, which means Grubauer has to keep him honest and play him legit. Now, at the same time, Grubauer does overplay it a little bit. You're going to see by the end of this play, he's well outside the post. Not just well outside the post, but almost entirely out of the crease as Kyrou continues to go around the net. Since Graves got left in the dust, there is nothing impeding him from going for the wraparound here. Zadorov just looks away at the wrong second here. He's looking at the man coming back, and Kyrou is wrapping around the net with a Grubauer not covering it at all. By the time Zadorov looks back, it's already going in the net. Just everything fell apart. The game was over at that point. The Avs kind of tried to mount a half-hearted comeback, but there wasn't really anything to it. You get down to goalie pull time. David Perron dumps it into the empty net to get the hat trick on top of it all because, of course. 2 things you can take away from this game. Glass half full. The Avs are absolutely capable of playing their game and controlling the play against the St. Louis Blues. They did it for the vast majority of the second period. Glass half empty, this team completely fell apart. In their first real challenge against one of the best teams in the league, a team they're trying to prove they can hang with, mentally, they just couldn't. And losing to the Blues isn't the end of the world. Even losing in this way, you know what? Fine. It's a loss to one of the best teams in the league, but the process going forward needs to be better than that. As I said off the top, sure, the Blues found a way to win this game, but more so, I think it was the Avs finding a way to lose it. That's all I got for this one. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching, and head on over to thednvr.com to check out some of our premium content. If you like our stuff and want to support us, consider signing up for a premium membership. I am Rudo, and don't lose your mind over this too much. The road to a championship is a long and windy one, not a straight line.
Avalanche time, come on, grab your friends. We're going to the playoffs again with Nate.